Well, hello, friends, and I am here to tell you about a webinar called High Times and Addiction in the Chart, coming up at Astrology University with Jessica Lanyadoo. And I have, let's say, a representative for Jessica Lanyadoo with me today to tell you a little bit about her presentation. Thanks for joining me today, representative of Jessica.
You're welcome. I'm Broccoli, and if you know, you know. And this is what I need to tell you about the class. But first, I want to say, Tony, thank you so much for dressing to match, because I feel like, people are always like trying to put other colors around me, and I just feel like green on green. What's not to love? Okay. You're welcome. So you wanted me to talk about the class?
Yeah, so can you tell folks a little bit about what you're going to share in this webinar? I mean, the title says quite a lot, but can you tell people what your focus is going to be and your approach to this topic?
Sure. So astrology is an invaluable tool for understanding our innermost psychology. And part of that is looking at our relationship to addiction, to substances, to being present, or to not being present. When I think about addiction, I don't just think about substance use or alcoholism or drug addiction. There are so many ways that we can be addicted, and there's so many reasons why we can be addicted. And astrology is an invaluable tool for understanding our own nature, for understanding what substances or kind of addictions and obsessions we are drawn to and why, and whether or not it's healthy, whether or not it's sustainable. We can also, through astrology, see times when we're more vulnerable or we're likely to have a little more fun, because, most adults know these things ebb and flow. I mean, not me. I don't have any legs, so I can't run or swim. I mean, I can flow, but yeah, you get the point, right, Tony?
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much for that. So who do you have in mind as an audience for this talk? Like who is this talk really for?
Honestly, it's for anyone who likes using any kind of substances. I mean, within the talk, yes, of course, there's a focus on drugs and alcohol and all that stuff. But we're also going to look at like shopping and scrolling and other addictions that we have. So anyone who has at all of a compulsive or addictive nature, anyone who plays with substances and doesn't feel like they're addictive or compulsive, anyone who has ever been close to someone with addiction or is related to someone with an addiction history, people who are sober curious, people who are angry at the concept of sobriety. For all of us, I feel like there's a great reason to be interested in this topic. But then additionally, a consulting astrologer would be well served by having this kind of data, because there are none of us who have a client base that are just like never addicts, right? Or never dealing with substance abuse or substance use. And so many people use various drugs for spiritual facilitation. This is something that, I've seen worked a lot with, and I don't think enough astrologers talk about, because the truth is there's a nice overlap between people who are interested in astrology and people who use substances for spiritual experiences and stuff like that, people who self-medicate in various ways. And so I think that there's a really good reason for astrologers to be competent in understanding drugs and how and why we use them, and where the lines are for being healthy around it. And also for finding, and learning non-judgmental and supportive ways of engaging with that with our clients, because just because something may or may not work for me doesn't mean it doesn't work for someone else, or that it does work for someone else. We must be able to read each individual's birth chart in a way that is healthy and appropriate for them, and to not project our own values and our own birth chart upon others. So yeah, I hope that tosses your salad.
That was such a great point there. Yeah, really important point though, in all seriousness. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Can you tell folks, are you going to be focusing a little bit on planets or signs or houses or aspects or a little bit of all of the above?
Good question. So primarily on planets and probably yeah, a little bit on all of it, but the focus is on planets because we only have so much time.
Right.
The cool thing about understanding the planets in the context of this topic is once you really get it, it becomes much easier to apply it in the context of our birth charts in general. So with sign, aspect, house placement, and then in transit, right? Because that's a big thing, you know, when we have periods of our life where we're like, hey, I'm going to have fun. I'm going to go out drinking more. Or periods where that drinking gets a little out of hand or too habitual. Those things can often be triggered by transits. And so, again, these are things to become more aware of. Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks for joining me today. And before we go, can you tell folks a little bit about your inspiration for showing up as broccoli today?
Sure. If you know, you know, broccoli, you know, a little weed, little broccoli. A lot of people enjoy weed. And I am that right now. Am I pandering to weed users? No. It was just the best filter I could find for drugs. Apparently, they do not make pills or LSD tabs as a filter. I've written to the internet to complain, but I haven't received a word back. If you too would like to write to the internet to complain, go to www.internet.com and write a strongly worded letter. I would appreciate it. It's just a little bit of advocacy I'm doing here today. Thank you. Obviously, I'm going to be more serious during my talk. I am unlikely to show up as broccoli, although I'm making no promises.
No, it is a very serious topic, but I think it's fun to make a little light in this moment. And if you are interested in signing up for this talk, head over to astrologyuniversity.com/events. If you're joining us before the event here coming up soon in early 2022, or I guess it's almost mid 2022, isn't it? And if you're joining us after the talk's already been presented, the recording is now available, and you can find that by heading over to astrologyuniversity.com and just typing in Jessica's name in the search field on any page of the website. So you can just type in Jessica Lanyadoo, Lanyadoo, and you will find her speaker page and all of her offerings at Astrology University. But thanks so much for joining me today, Jessica. It has been a pleasure as always, and I can't wait to see your talk coming up soon.
Thanks. Thanks so much for having me. Stay healthy, y'all.